Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to explore one of the most important, but often overlooked, topics in Microsoft Azure Storage redundancy. Most people are aware that Azure automatically keeps multiple copies of your data. But here's the part that many don't realize. Not all redundancy options are the same. The redundancy choice you make, whether it's locally redundant storage, zone redundant storage, or geo-redundant storage, directly impacts the availability, durability, and disaster recovery of your applications. Choosing the right option could be the difference between quickly restoring your data during an outage or facing unexpected downtime and potential data loss. So, in this tutorial, we'll break down the different types of redundancy in Azure, look at how each one works behind the scenes, and help you understand which option is best for your workload. Let's discuss about why redundancy matters. So, why does redundancy matter in the first place? Redundancy means Azure always keeps extra copies of your data. But not all redundancy is created equal. A common misconception is that redundancy equals backup. But that's not the case. Redundancy is about making your data available and durable automatically without manual intervention. Backups are separate processes where you independently copy and store data. Azure redundancy is critical for hardware failures because disks, servers, and racks can fail anytime. High availability, keeping apps running smoothly without interruption. Disaster recovery, protecting against regional outages, natural disasters, or even fiber cuts between regions. Let's discuss about types of Azure Storage redundancy. Now, let's break down the main redundancy options Azure provides. First one is locally redundant storage, LRS. Think of LRS as keeping 3 safety copies of your data, but all inside one single data center in your main region. If one server fails, your data is still safe because Azure has 2 more copies right there in the same building. This makes LRS very durable. The chances of losing your data are extremely low, about 11 nines of durability per year. That's close to zero risk from normal hardware failures. But here's the limitation. Since all 3 copies are in the same place, if something big happens to that data center, like a power outage, fire, or flood, all copies could be affected. That's why LRS is usually chosen for non-critical data or workloads where cost is the main concern. For example, backup files, test environments, or applications where downtime is acceptable. In simple terms, LRS is affordable, safe against server issues, but not the right choice if you need protection from large-scale disasters. Next, let's talk about zone redundant storage or ZRS. ZRS takes protection a step further compared to LRS. Instead of keeping all your copies in one building, ZRS spreads your data across 3 different availability zones within the same Azure region. Each availability zone is like its own mini data center, with separate power, cooling, and networking. This means even if one zone has a major issue, like a power failure or outage, your data is still safe and accessible from the other zones. With ZRS, you get an extremely high level of durability, about 99.99% annually, and much stronger protection against zone-level failures. That's why ZRS is often chosen for business-critical workloads, where downtime is not acceptable. It's also highly recommended for high-availability apps and for storing data in Azure Data Lake, where reliability is essential. In simple terms, ZRS keeps your data safe across multiple zones, giving you more resilience without leaving your region. Now let's move on to Geo-redundant storage or GRS and Geo-zone redundant storage or GZRS. These options are designed to protect your data not just within one region, but across 2 completely different Azure regions that are hundreds of miles apart. Here's how it works. GRS takes your LRS storage in the primary region and then makes an asynchronous copy of your data into a secondary region. This ensures your data is safe even if the entire primary region goes down due to a disaster. GZRS goes even further by combining ZRS in the primary region with asynchronous replication to another region. This gives you both zone-level protection and geo-level protection at the same time. The durability is extremely high, about 99.99% annually, which means your data is practically never lost. Because of this, GRS and GZRS are the best choices for mission-critical applications where downtime is unacceptable and where you need business continuity even in the case of a regional disaster. In simple words, GRS and GZRS extend your protection beyond your region, keeping your data safe even if an entire Azure region becomes unavailable. Finally, let's look at read-access geo-redundant storage or RA-GRS and read-access geo-zone redundant storage or RA-GZRS. These options build on top of GRS and GZRS, but add one important feature: you can read data from the secondary region at any time. What does that mean? Even if your primary region is healthy, your applications can still access a copy of the data in the secondary region. And if the primary region goes down, your users can immediately read data from the secondary copy, keeping your app online with almost zero downtime. This is especially useful for mission-critical applications where high availability is non-negotiable. It also supports load balancing across regions and allows you to do disaster recovery testing without disrupting your primary systems. In simple terms, RA-GRS and RA-GZRS give you the strongest protection and keep your data continuously available even during regional outages. Now that we've gone through the different storage redundancy options, let's look at some real-world use cases. LRS, or locally redundant storage, is best for development environments, testing data, and non-critical backups. It's affordable and reliable enough for scenarios where downtime is acceptable. ZRS, or zone redundant storage, is ideal for workloads that need high availability inside a region, such as financial transaction logs or applications where resilience within the same region is important. GRS and GZRS are commonly used for compliance-driven industries like healthcare and government, where strict disaster recovery requirements must be met. They ensure data is protected across regions. And finally, RA-GRS and RA-GZRS are the go-to choice for global e-commerce platforms and mission-critical apps that demand continuous read access even if the primary region becomes unavailable. In short, each redundancy option has its own place, from simple backups to high-availability apps to compliance and finally to global-scale mission-critical systems. Now let's look at another layer of data protection in Azure Storage: versioning. With versioning turned on, Azure automatically keeps older versions of your files whenever a blob is changed or deleted. This means if someone accidentally overwrites or deletes important data, you can easily roll back and restore it to a previous state. Think of it like a time machine for your files. You can go back to the exact version you need. Versioning works seamlessly with all redundancy options, making it a powerful tool for data lifecycle management and for meeting compliance requirements. In short, versioning protects you from mistakes, accidents, and even bugs by keeping your data history safe. Finally, let's talk about immutability policies in Azure Storage. Immutability uses a write once, read many approach, often called warm storage. This means that once data is written, it cannot be changed or deleted for a defined retention period. This is extremely important for regulatory compliance, such as storing financial records, healthcare data, or legal documents where the integrity of data must be guaranteed. Immutability also provides strong protection against ransomware attacks and insider threats because it creates an unalterable audit trail that no one can tamper with. And here's the best part: immutability can be combined with versioning and redundancy to build a multi-layered defense strategy that keeps your data safe, compliant, and secure. In simple words, immutability locks your data like a vault, protecting it from accidental changes, malicious attacks, and compliance risks. To wrap up, Azure Storage offers a progressive scale of redundancy options, starting from LRS for cost-effective local protection, all the way to RA-GZRS for global mission-critical availability. Along this journey, you can balance cost, durability, and availability depending on your business needs. On top of that, enhanced features like versioning and immutability add extra layers of protection, ensuring compliance, security, and resilience against both accidents and threats. The key takeaway: always choose your redundancy model based on your application's requirements. Not all data needs global replication, but critical workloads do. So, explore the Azure portal, configure your storage with the right settings, and build applications that are both resilient and future-proof. In short, secure your data with Azure Storage Redundancy and strengthen your cloud strategy. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. If you want to see a hands-on demo of configuring these settings in the Azure portal, drop a comment below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Azure tutorials. Until next time, stay resilient, stay secure, and keep building smarter in the cloud. Thanks for watching.